Kanguva honestly took me back to Surya's Chennai vs. China, a film from 2011 that feels even more impressive in hindsight. If it were released in today's multi-part era, I'm sure it would have been spun into two parts, but instead, it stayed grounded in one, delivering a full story with punch. It's a reminder of how powerful a story can be when it's not stretched thin for the sake of grandeur. Hey everyone, welcome to the Cinephile. Let's talk about Kanguva and the trend of storytelling in Indian cinema. While Bollywood seems busy cashing in on the names of the franchise, the South Indian cinema has started stretching stories in multi-part films, with the likes of Devara and Indian 2, and now Kanguva. But here's the real question. Does splitting the narrative work for Kanguva? Spoiler, it does not quite hit the mark. Let's talk about it. Set in the year 1070, Kanguva introduces us to a warrior Kanguva living on the island of Perumachi, one of 5 islands with unique cultures and tribes. The Romans, ever the opportunists, have their eyes set on acquiring these islands, with Perumachi as their first target. The stage is set for an epic battle of survival, with Kanguva's tribe of fierce warriors standing strong against the Roman invaders. The concept of different tribes, each with its own expertise, feels rich with storytelling potential. What sounds like a great setup quickly falters with weak writing. Imagine the potential: Romans pitting different tribes against each other in a tactful, suspense-filled epic. But here, the story simply does not take off, and the rushed execution leaves a lot to be desired. Now here's where things take a turn. For better or worse, you decide. The story jumps to modern-day Goa, where we meet Francis, a bounty hunter hired by police who is revealed to be the reincarnation of Kanguva. Initially, we see him carrying out dangerous missions, but here's the thing, it feels slapdash. Francis's actions feel almost comically effortless, as if the dangerous criminals are conveniently strolling around the corner. So much so that you are left with the question, why does the police even approach Francis to get to these killers and not do it themselves? The movie's tone in these scenes is loose and borderline silly, detracting from any tension or depth the character might have had. On top of this, we get a weird editing style, with an odd integration of memes and humor, which feels more like YouTube content than a pan-India film. Or is it a pan-India film? Because the way it was dubbed in Hindi did not feel like a quality work, but an absolute mess. Kanguva always roaring. In fact, every other character shouted throughout the film, and Disha Patni sounded nothing like Disha Patni, rather sounded like a girl in the 5 minutes craft video dubbed in Hindi. Once again, her role is reduced to a little more than eye candy, much like what we saw in Kalki. While she does not add much to the story or influence its outcome, her presence seems crafted to draw a male audience to the theatre. She's there to add glamour, but not depth, almost as if her character's impact is an afterthought rather than an essential part of the narrative. Visually, Kanguva is ambitious, but often disappoints. The CGI occasionally shines, but there is so much obvious computer-generated imagery that it disrupts the immersive experience a film like this should provide. The action scenes are made by awkward cuts and choreography that feels underwhelming for a film of this scale. And what's with all the announcements? Show us who the character is through action and nuance, not by constantly shouting their traits and titles at the audience. A strong character speaks for themselves through what they do, not through declarations. So, is Kanguva worth watching? It's a yes if you are planning on enjoying it with friends for a laugh-filled low-stakes outing. If you are expecting a cinematic experience with depth, emotional resonance, or epic action that rivals its predecessors, this may not be your movie. However, if you want to have fun with friends and maybe even poke a little fun at the action sequences or the characters' exaggerated expressions, this movie delivers on the entertainment front. In short, Kanguva is a missed opportunity, a potentially epic tale that gets lost in poor execution.